Welcome to the Smash Brothers Basement Podcast, your back-end source for all things Smash Brothers related. Hey guys, welcome to the podcast.
Hey guys, it's Chairmind4123 and welcome back to another podcast.
Alright, today we got a real special topic for you guys. We've got some of the, differences in Smash 4 versus Melee. Now, as we all know, the PGR ranking, which for Smash 4 is like a ranking of all of the top 50 players. The third part of it, I believe it's the third part of it, which showed all the players up until the top 11, just came out recently. And while it hasn't really showed the top 10, pretty much everyone knows who the top 10 players are at this point, just not the order. But just seeing all of these like new people that are coming in to the Smash 4 scene in general, and to look at the PGR top 50, it just really kind of shows. I mean, I'm not bashing Melee people or anything, but like the list of the top 50 players in Smash 4 seems like a lot more threatening than per se the list of Melee players. The list of top 50, the Meom top 50 Melee players, or the Meom top 100 or whatever, because you got on the lower end of it. You've got, some of the best players from Japan or from other regions. You still have really notable people who like main like niche characters like that one Japanese DK main or whatever. And you got all these, really strong threats where if you get anyone who's from the PGR top 50, who's even on it, if you find any of them in tournament, I mean, that means really bad news for you. And even some of the people who were not included on the list are still just huge, scary threats to face. I mean, even whoever, the number 50 spot, which was Foe, who's currently the best Ness right now, he still would be a huge threat. I mean, I would not personally want to go up against Foe in tournament, and that's not just because I play Pika, but seriously, everyone in the top 50 in Smash 4 is just so, they're just all such phenomenal players, and the skill gap between number 50 and number 1 is really not nearly as big as it seems. I mean, if you heard that Foe just took a set off of 0 at some tournament, you wouldn't really be super surprised at that. It'd be like, oh, well, yeah, that kind of stuff happens in Smash 4. And then when you look at Melee, when you start looking at the lower half of the, top 50 and top 100, it kind of starts to lose a lot of luster, like you couldn't see them taking games off of, the top 5, and the gods pretty much just have their place, So what do you think about all this, about the differences in the Smash 4 and Melee meta?
Well, I mean, I feel like there's a very good reason for that. Smash 4 being a much newer game, obviously the competitive scene isn't as well like dominated by certain people, whereas Melee has been around since literally over a decade now. Yeah,
it
almost
was
2 decades now. So
I think it's 15 years because Melee came out in 2002.
No, it came out in 2001, I think.
Oh yeah. I think it wasn't it like Japan 2001, and then in the States it was 2002?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know, but it's been at least over 15 years.
The point being that, like, obviously with Melee, I feel like it's so old now that, like, at a point, the people that are the best, like, clearly know what they're doing and are going to stay the best. Whereas with Smash 4, it's still a much younger meta, a younger game in general. So because of that, there's going to be a lot more change and upsets. That being said, 0 is still first. So
yeah. And it's just so amazing to see how these lower tiered people in Smash 4 are just like placing so good at events. Like, I mean, you saw at 2GG Civil War, I mean, that was absolutely crazy. I mean, Esam beat Ally, Mars beat 0, MK Leo got like, I think 0 got like 65th or something. Like 0 did not very good. MK Leo didn't even break top 100, I don't think. Either he got like 60 something or he was like 120 something. Like MK Leo, like his match wasn't even fully filmed. I think when they showed him getting upset, it was like just someone with a camera like showing the match, and I mean, it was just absolutely insane. And I feel like with Smash 4, you can have a lot of, one person goes to small tournaments and then they just show up at this big tournament and they just like absolutely destroy people out there, and it's just really crazy, and it's cool to see all of these really different characters. Like at Civil War there was T, and I think he got third. You know, that Link who like just destroyed everyone.
Yeah.
He was just absolutely insane, and I mean, I personally know that it is very hard to fight Link, and if you don't respect his range, that will be very hard. But it was just so cool to see lower tier characters like that. And do you know who that DK main is?
I can't remember the name.
Smash 4. I know that he's Japanese, and that he got, I think he got top 8 at 2GG Civil War. Hikaru.
Oh yeah.
Hikaru, that he did so amazingly well. And it's just like you just get these super solid people, and it really is a great time to play Smash 4 right now, because you could realistically upset one of the people in the top 10. Like, it's just such a crazy...
You could be the random underdog who just randomly shows up and, kicks.
Yeah, it's really crazy how you can just go in and you can just absolutely destroy everyone.
Which only means good things for the competitive scene, because it's going to be more interesting to watch than, say, the same old people over and over again.
It's always super interesting to watch. But did you watch that Hacks Money video? Him talking about his mod pack, how instead of modding the controllers, he's gonna mod the game.
No.
Oh, well, basically, what Hacks Money was saying was that he was saying how before he had made a video about all these problems that Melee had. Like how dash back was like really terrible apparently, and how like you can't consistently shield drop, which people know that, and all these bad things about the GameCube controller. And then he suggested putting Arduinos in it, and he actually said, as of that video, which that was a really stupid thing to do, he said, if you mail us, it's like this whole thing can be done for $2 if you know how to solder, have a tri-wing screwdriver, and $2 to buy this Arduino. You can do it yourself. And if you can't, you can maybe pay a friend around $10, and you can mail us your controller and a $2 Arduino, and we will do it ourselves for $20.
Yeah, I would not. That seems like a bad idea.
Yes, and he made a follow-up video to that, and he was talking about, he was like, I just spent this whole day packaging up GameCube controllers and refunding people's postal money and sending them back to people because I could not deliver on the whole Arduino thing. People were having issues with getting them in. There were issues with voltage, where if you used it for too long, it would literally short out the port, the cord, both the controller or the GameCube. Like, it could destroy everything. And there were just some issues with the voltage, because apparently like the GameCube's thing is like 3.4 volts, and the Arduino requires 5 volts to work. So it will work, but it'll eventually short it out. And there were issues with that. There were several other issues of legality and stuff like that. But then he came to the conclusion of, he was like, you know what? I messed up. Who's that?
What up, hackers?
Hey, it's HeroMine4123 back with another
we got
video.
Our guest, HeroMine4123, back with us again. If you do not know HeroMine4123, we are currently doing a Smash 4 Melee comparison podcast, and you can, sit here and listen, or maybe say a few things on the topics that we're talking about. Yeah. So, as I was saying, basically, he admitted that he messed up on the video, which was really awesome of him. I know a bunch of people were debating, like, with the whole Smashbox, and the whole Smashbox PGR.
Oh yeah, was that when they tried to use like a fight stack then? Like a fight stick then?
Yeah, the Smashbox. And basically Hacks Money was working with the people who made the Smashbox, and then he made a video that was like, I tried to send them new designs saying how the straight design was non-ergonomic, and I sent them ergonomic designs, and they were constantly ignoring them. I gave them ideas, they were ignoring them, and they were completely concerned about the business end. They were not concerned for the people. They are horrible business scumbags. Everyone working on the Smashbox. That's why I left. And then he was like, I made my own Smashbox, the B0XX, which is ergonomically designed for you, and I'm working for the people. So basically, then Hitbox Gravy and Dustin put out videos of their own saying how he had, insulted their design and done all this stuff, and he was actually wanting the business end of the money, and he was like, if you don't do what I say, I'm going to blackmail you and say that you're horrible and make my own box. And there was this whole dilemma of who was telling the truth. And I could tell you one thing after watching all that. One of them is a horrible lying thief.
Does anyone know which one it actually is, though?
Well, that's what people were debating about. But one of them is a horrible liar and a snake. And I don't think it's Axe, because he flat out said that he had made an awful mistake. He refunded people's money for the shipping. Like, I mean, if you're the type of person who is sending some random guy $20 on a GameCube controller to get some secret trick to help you in Melee, you're not really expecting much. Like, you don't care about getting your postal money back. But he's making a statement saying, I'm honest, I messed up, and I want you to trust me. And honestly, he gained my trust from that. But that's besides the point. He's now decided that he is actually working with Faster Melee. Do you know what that is, Aiden? Faster Melee?
I don't know a whole lot about the Melee scene in general, so I don't know what
Faster Melee, it's like this net play thing where it's meant for Melee, and it's basically makes it kind of like 20XX, but without any of the 20XX stuff, and it's designed for net play. Right. It's like a mod to Dolphin. But he actually got, and pretty much everyone who plays Melee on net play has it, but he actually got the Faster Melee team to incorporate the Hacks Money update into the next Faster Melee update. So all these dashback changes, all the controller changes that changes the way that the game plays and feels are part of an official Faster Melee update. Which means that he's got, Hacks Money has got his stuff done. And he's also putting it on memory cards. And he actually gives people a guide on how to use it, use Nintendo to load it onto a memory card. Or not Nintendo, but some other program where you can put it on an SD card and then use a program on a Wii to put it onto a memory card. But basically, he's saying that basically it's just that this thing that makes Melee feel better and fixes a lot of the problems with Melee will now be on memory cards and will be the way to play in tournament. So there's a lot of talk with this concept about what's the practicality of it. Things like Leffen actually tried it out, and you know how Leffen is with just everything in general. But he was saying how he stayed pretty objective, and he was saying how wave dashing feels different because normally when you Hacks Money also moved the cardinals as in perfect angles to the very edge of the GameCube controller, like the up, down, left, and right. If you go slightly down or slightly up, those are the perfect wave dash angles, which is a lot easier than what it is before because you're just kind of estimating somewhere on the controller. But Leffen said how before, if he wanted to get perfect wave dashes, he would go down and slightly to the right and then wiggle his control stick and then wave dash. But now he has to do it to the side and then wiggle and wave dash, which is a completely different direction because essentially you're trying to go as far down as you can, but you're going to the side. So it's not really weird. It's not really bad. It just feels different. So I know that
mess up some people's muscle memory.
Yeah, like if you go to a local and they don't necessarily have those special memory cards, you'll have to do it. And I mean, it's fairly easy to load, and you can be like, "Hey, I brought my own." But then what about the people who haven't played with the memory cards? Like if you're in the grand finals of a local or whatever, and you're like, "Hey, I have the memory card. Don't worry." And the guy's like, "Wait, I've never played with this memory card. It'll mess up all my stuff." Especially if you're playing a technical character or a character that requires lots of wave dashing, like Fox or Ice Climbers or Luigi or whatever. Steven, you're really gonna get messed up.
pretty much, I feel like unless they're able to get it into such a like like how Project M was so like widespread that it became its own thing.
Yeah.
I feel like either everyone would have to accept it in the Melee community, which I don't see. Like just knowing the Smash community, I feel like there's going to be people just against it for the sake of being against it.
Yeah.
Or it'll have to become its own thing entirely in a similar way that Project M became its own thing from Brawl.
You know, that actually doesn't seem like a terrible idea. Like, they could name it like 20XX or something, and it's like a version of Melee that's like way better. And like you have like 20XX tournaments and regular Melee tournaments. I don't know how all that would work out, but that's kind of a neat-ish concept. Like that's kind of like
I feel like there's going to be people who like are stuck to their true vanilla Melee, and it's just they're not going to want to switch over because why should I have to learn the new wave dashes, that kind of thing, or I'm weird and I don't like the consistency of being able to always shield drop or something dumb.
Yeah. Or maybe someone's gonna be like, I spent $500 on this perfectly not shield drop thing, and everyone can do it with a regular controller. I'm cheesed,
Because obviously you can't have it to the point where it's like some people are using it and some aren't, and it's still all under the general Melee community. Because then you have the issue of what version do you play when there's someone who is normal Melee versus this new Melee.
Yeah. I don't know exactly how this would all work out.
So that is the way. If it was successful enough to become like we're a majority,
Oh, you're cutting out.
Well, I was pretty much just restating what.
Oh, okay, yeah. But I feel like that would be not the hardest thing in the world to do. I feel like. Do you feel like it would end up kind of like the whole 1.0 Melee versus 1.02 Melee, where like certain things are different, but like pretty much everyone just kind of checks the game cubes, or like the whole PAL NTSC thing?
I mean, I don't know if I feel like it's one of those things you kind of have to like. I would have to know more about to know exactly how drastic the changes are. And I'm sure that this isn't like the final version or whatever. I'm sure they'll probably keep updating it. So, I think it's just in the end game. It depends on how different like their final or close to final product will be from Melee.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's only just like, oh yeah, wave dashing is easier and like, such and such thing, then what will probably happen is it'll be like, all right, tournaments will, they might have it for the special Melee, but if you face against someone who's just only knows normal Melee, you're just going to play regular Melee.
Yeah.
But obviously, if it's something with bigger gameplay changes, you're going to have to, do something about that. So.
Yeah. And only time will tell, because Leffen, of all people, actually gave a pretty good analysis of it. He said that he likes the whole wave dash, dash back, because in regular Melee, dash back is inconsistent, where if you're dashing for like if you're doing like an extended dash and then you turn around, it's pretty much random on a regular controller to get a perfect dash back. But with this mod, it is not, and you will always get a dash back. You can also do things like dash back out of crouch. Like if you're crouching one way, you can dash. You can dash the other way, and you will immediately get up and dash without any sort of lag or messing up. Which sounds like a
version I'd rather play.
Yeah, but it's a lot of it is some quality of life stuff. But what Leffen said that he didn't like very much was the wave dashing and the moving of the cardinals, which wave dashing is part of it. But the moving of the cardinals, which is basically making perfect angles easier, because the way that he saw it. And I kind of agree and disagree a little bit. The way he saw it was that people have worked very hard to get perfect angles, and with this, it's kind of like you can get the perfect angles really easily. Even though even top players cannot get angles consistently, even Leffen, he's like, I don't get these angles consistently. I still try really, really hard to. And now it'll be a lot easier for anyone to do it. So I kind of get where he's coming from a little bit, but I feel like it's a greater issue of people. I feel like he might have worded it a little bit wrong. Like, not like, oh, well, I spent all my life learning these angles, so I don't want them to change because I don't want the Melee scene to ever change. I feel like he should have said it as, everyone's learned these specific angles, and we have to play the game differently.
Adapt, yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like the Melee scene could maybe use a little bit of spicing up.
Yeah, I feel like what I was starting to say like way back in the beginning. Like Melee is such a like you know what you're expecting when you come to a Melee tournament. You know, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like you know what you're watching, and so in that sense, I feel like doing something like that. Like I see why like veteran players would be discouraged by it. Obviously, you know they have to relearn something they've learned like years ago. But at the same time, I feel like that kind of thing is the thing that brings more new players in that are like kind of interested about Melee, and then they're on the fence, and then they hear about this new thing, like, well, I'll hop on that, you know?
Yeah. Oh, gosh. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Speaking of spicing up the Melee community, a few different things happened, which is, you know, spicing everything up. First off, Chudat was just picked up by, I don't know if I told you or not, but Chudat was just picked up by Team Liquid.
Oh,
so
really?
Yeah, ironically, the grand finals of two people who like absolutely hate each other will be Liquid Hungrybox versus Liquid Chudat, but it also means that now they have confirmed that Chudat and Chillin' Dude are now going to be playing doubles together.
Nice.
And they were already really good friends. They were on each other's streams. I think they had played doubles a little bit, but they are going to be a Team Liquid doubles team.
Nice.
And what's really funny is it'd be really funny if you got Hungrybox and Liquid Hungrybox and Liquid Crunch versus Liquid Chillin' Dude and Liquid Chew. That like it's Team Liquid versus Team Liquid. That'd be kind of funny.
Yeah.
But that's a really cool thing that's gonna happen. And another thing, which is actually kind of more food for thought, is PP. I would really recommend that you watch PP and Lawzer's run at something Bad Moon. Oh crap, my mic just fell. But something Bad Moon. I forgot what it. Bad Moon Rising 2. That's what it was. Weird name. But they got really far and they did really awesome. And PP has said, I watched his talk with Toph, or not Toph, Tophokins, and he said that that he was trying to make Evo. Like people were like, "Oh, Evo 2017 is going to be when PP comes back," because he's very close to coming back. And he said that he's like, I want to go to Evo 2017, but he's like, no. He's like, my comeback I'm fairly certain that it's not going to be Evo. So he's like, I might go, but he's like, don't get your hopes up for Evo. So Evo's not going to be his comeback. I think he's probably going to come back in 2017. Maybe for something that happens later in the year.
2018?
I'm thinking if it is 2018, it's going to be early. If he wants to take time for it, but I mean, you don't want to be like, okay, I recovered from my illness and I'm ready to play, but I want to wait until the next Evo, so I'm just going to sit here doing nothing, you know? And I mean, obviously he's not sitting there doing nothing. He's doing a ton of training. Clearly he did lots of doubles training with Lawzer because their play was amazing. But I feel like he wouldn't want to be like he wants to be patient and wait for the right moment, but he doesn't want to wait so long that he's like, oh, well, you're perfectly fine to go to a tournament, but I just don't feel that I'm ready, you know?
Yeah.
But he said that he's probably not going to be able to make Evo, which I'm kind of sad about, but I'm like, you know, it's fine. He should take as much time as he needs. I don't want him to go to Evo and, like, not even break top 16 because he's not feeling very well. You know, but when he does come back, let's say that he comes back at a super major, right? All 5 gods are there. You got big notable names. You got people like Mike Hayes. You got Shroomed. You got West Balls. You got the whole list. You've got everybody there. If he goes to one of those tournaments, how far do you think he's gonna get?
No.
Let me rephrase that. Saying as It goes perfectly in whoever you say he happens to fight. Who do you think he would definitely beat out of the top 6?
Let's see here. I'm trying to. Can you list them off again? I'm sorry. It's been a while since I.
All right. Top 6 being actually. Yeah, I'm just gonna start off with the top 6. Top 6 being, I guess it's not top 6 because PP's one of the top 6. Never mind. Top 5, as in being 4 gods who aren't PP, and then Leffen. So that'd be Leffen, Mango, Armada, and Mewtwo and Hungrybox.
I feel like Leffen.
Yeah, I feel like Leffen would be the first one to get brushed away. You know.
Yeah.
I think I forgot who said this. I think it might have been Hugs or whatever because I watch his stream a lot. But someone was like, "Leffen, your job is to beat Hungrybox and lose to Mango. That's Leffen's job. That's his job in every tournament. You beat Hungrybox, lose to Mango. That's your job." And there was that one time where he lost to Hungrybox and beat Mango, and it's like, you had one job, Leffen. You had one job. Beat Hungrybox and lose to Mango. But I think he would probably beat Leffen. I think he would probably beat Leffen. Do you think he would be able to beat Mango?
I think it'd be close. I don't like.
I think it'd be close, and I think it'd be hype. But I feel like it would be a Falco Ditto. I feel like Mango would go for it, and he would go for the Falco Ditto. I feel like that's how it would go down. They would do the Falco Ditto, and Mango, he thrives on the crowd being on his side. But the crowd's not going to be on his side. At least not most of them. I'm going to be voting for PP. I like Mango, but I'm going to be voting for PP, and everyone's going to be riding on PP on his comeback, especially if PP's in loser's bracket and he runs into Mango, no one's going to be cheering for you. Everyone wants to see PP do that loser's run. I'm sorry, but and I feel like when the crowd isn't supporting Mango, and he said it himself, he's like, if the crowd's not supporting me, if the crowd's not into it, I'm not into it, you know? So I feel like he's going to lose just because he's not going to really care too much. Do you think... Okay, who do you think Mewtwo would probably go Marth? Who do you think PP would go against Mewtwo? Do you think he'd go Falco, or do you think he'd go Marth?
I think he'd go Falco.
Okay, yeah. He's been working on his Falco a lot, and he did Falco in doubles with Lazar. So we've seen his Falco. But okay, so those ones, I think he'd win against all 3 of them. Probably. You think he'd win against Mewtwo? I think he'd probably win against Mewtwo.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So here is the real question: HBox and Armada.
Nah, my boy H-Box gonna hit that ledge up and just like play like he normally does, man.
Yeah, he's gonna get one hit in, and he's gonna ledge camp. But do you think that PP could? The game is close. The game is going to be last hit. I can guarantee you, if it goes optimally and Armada like gets sick or something, I don't know. Let's just pretend that Armada doesn't exist. If it goes optimally, like if Armada isn't there for some reason, it's gonna be PP and HBox fight. One of them loses, and then it's winners versus losers. The grand finals will be PP versus HBox again.
Yep.
It's gonna whoever won will lose, and it'll be a bracket reset, and you will get the final match. They will each win 2. It'll be game 5, and it'll be last hit. Who do you think's gonna win? Honestly, if it's last hit, and
no, yeah,
and HBox has more percent, maybe HBox could win.
I've just seen HBox, and I've seen his camp strat. It's pretty god tier. I'm pretty sure he'd win.
Unless, I mean, I would not. I think the HBox would probably win. Just speaking out of straight facts that we know, HBox would probably win. It'd be close, but he'd probably win. But I would not be surprised if HBox starts ledge camping, and then PP does this really weird thing with some lasers, and he like trumps the ledge and then down airs him, and then HBox is like, "How did you beat my ledge camping?" And then PP's like, "I did that." I feel like if that happens, if PP figures out a way to combat ledge camping, PP's got it in the bag. PP has won. But if he can't deal with the ledge camping, I don't know. And I don't know if PP's going to dedicate himself to just getting better at the game and coming back, or if he's going to dedicate himself to, you know, finding a way to beat HBox. I don't know what his priorities are.
I don't think he's going to dedicate himself to a specific person. I think he's just going to dedicate to, I'm trying to get back into the game. I need to focus on.
Yeah, I feel like at least the first time that they meet, HBox will probably win. But once PP proves that he's good, but not better than HBox, then it will be on. How do you think it'll go against Armada?
That is a tricky question.
It's tough because PP was number 1 in the world at one time, and he was a better player than Armada.
I once again, I'm just like, it's close.
It is super close.
It would be a very cool match.
It is so ridiculous. It will be so ridiculously close that PP versus HBox will look like nothing. All right, it will be ridiculously close. I can tell you that. Recently, Armada, other than the fact that he hates Jigglypuff and Jigglypuff's like one of his worst characters to fight in general, other than the fact that Jigglypuff is a threat, this will be one of our this will not test PP. I feel like this will test Armada, because think about his threats. He's got HBox, right, who plays a character that he hates, and I'm not hating on HBox, but HBox wins against Armada because he's playing Jigglypuff. Because Armada is not comfortable against Jigglypuff. Yeah. That's a lot of the reason why he wins. I'm not saying that he wins in a cheap way, but he wins because he's playing Jigglypuff. Yeah. His only threats recently have been HBox, who he doesn't like fighting Jigglypuff, Mango, who's very inconsistent and relies more on like kind of gimmicks and like getting really good combos than like straight up playing the neutral, and people like Shroom, like Sheiks, and like people who play lower tier characters and stuff like that. Like he's only faced people. He's never been outplayed in a very long time. Like strictly, he played just the neutral better than me, and like straight up outskilled in the neutral. And I feel like PP can do that. Like he could. It will test Armada. I feel like it will see if Armada is still got it in him and he's still just as good as he was before, or if Armada's been letting up, because he's going to need to win in the neutral for Armada to win. It will be one game to see. I don't think I can predict it. Do you think out of I searched Miam. I'm trying to look up the top 10 Miam, but out of the rest of the top, I'm going to look up top 20. SSBM. Melee it on me. Okay, and this is an approximation. Anyone out there who's like, oh, well, I think so-and-so is actually top 15.
This isn't the real top 20.
This isn't the real top 20. Where is...
So, Steven, you got any comments?
I'm trying to find this. Ballots, ratings, and inactivity. Latest posts.
Did you guys call me?
I said, you got any comments, dude?
Alright, so, anyways, I'm gonna name some names. And All right. Do you think that he will struggle with people such as maybe, let's say, Chudat? Do you think he'll struggle with Chudat and ICs?
Like I feel like it won't be easy, but I don't feel like it won't be. I don't feel like it'll be like a super like close like you know.
Yeah, I feel like he'll just have to try not to get wobbled and like not be the most comfortable that he's ever been in that matchup. How do you think he'll do? Because I mean, think about when PP last played and how he played now. The improvements in Falcons that we've seen. I mean, we've seen some Falcons. We've seen S2J. We've seen Wizzy, or Wizrobe, I guess I'll say.
Yeah.
We've seen S2J. We've seen Wizzy. We've seen. Gosh, who's that other Falcon? There's another Falcon that I'm not. None. We've seen none. And there's probably another Falcon that I'm not thinking of. But the Falcons have been really going at it.
Yeah.
And then we have more sporadic players like Westballs, and we have people like Axe and stuff like that. What are the chances, you'd say, out of 10 of PP getting upset at the first tournament that he goes back to? Saying as in this tournament, you've got Chudat, you've got all three Falcons, you've got Axe, you've got Westballs, you've got all the people, you've got Shroomed and Plup, you've got all the people who play all the characters that are weird, that aren't Fox, Falco, and Marth, right? Or I guess just Fox and Marth. And you've got all those people. What are the chances, you'd say, out of 10 of him getting upset? Or at least not necessarily getting upset out of the tournament, but getting knocked out of winners or getting upset by any of these obscure characters?
I'd say like there's a decent chance. Like I don't want to say like there's like he's still just based off his skill level. Like I don't want to be like, oh yeah, there's like a 75% chance or anything like that. I think it's way too big. But like I'd say there's still a very good chance that just because of like his lack of experience against weirder characters, that because of that, like he'd either have to like maybe adapt a little bit more, like or just he could like I don't see him getting upset out of an entire tournament because someone's playing Falcon, he doesn't know how to react or anything like that. But I do see him possibly being like being taken out from winners bracket because someone's playing this really obscure character with a weird playstyle and he doesn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
Know it.
Hey, we got. Do you want me to say your real name on the podcast, Michael?
Ethan Bradbury Part 2.
Oh, what?
Ethan Bradbury Part 2, Michael here. We got him on the call. You can go ahead and check out his channel. But, so, yeah, that was, I feel like that was some really, insightful stuff there on PPMD. We all wish him very well when he comes back. And what do you think the next topic should be? You know what, Aiden?
Should we wrap it up there?
You know what? Let's wrap it up.
I feel like we talked about it.
Yeah, right. This is our first podcast. We got 38 minutes.
GG, folks.
At least on our time. GG, folks. That's how we'll end it from now on. GG, folks. And right now it's like 39-ish minutes, at least with us. With editing, it might be different. But have a nice day, everyone. And whichever game you play, keep on smashing.